Hello friends, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Elise, and this is my mystical spooky bookshelf. And today I have a special McKay's book haul for Summerween. I have decided that I no longer like summer, and it is fall in my heart. Even though it's like 100 degrees outside and I'm sweating, but it's fall. In my heart, it's fall. And I have my little spooky skeleton earrings. And you can't see it, but you kind of can. My shirt says bougie. So, yeah. Summerween. Happy Summerween to those who are celebrating and being delusional like me and saying, screw summer, it's fall. I even had, or my husband, he found pumpkin spice creamer already. So you tell me, is it really summer or is it fall? I think it's summer, or I think it's fall, not summer. But yeah, so I've been going to McKay's a lot with my husband, and we have been finding lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. And I wanted to share some of the books I found because some of them are like really good. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I stumbled across these. And they're all kind of like Summerween, spooky, like fall theme, cozy fantasies. So I decided I would do a little book haul and showcase the goodness that is McKay's. I don't know if a lot of people know what that, I'm sure a lot of people know what that store is, but McKay's is basically a store that you bring in stuff that you don't want and they can take it and give you store credit or give you money. So a lot of these books are used, but they're in really good condition. And I'm really happy that I can add them to my collection. And I personally have done a giant like book haul basically. So I basically gave McKay's my whole book collection, and then I went to McKay's and bought a whole nother book collection. So really, I don't know. It was like the math is not mathing because I still have a lot of books. But now these are books that I want, so I guess that's where the math is mathing. But anyway, so the first book in my little book haul is The Seance Tea Party by Ramina Ye, and I got it for $7. So the thing about McKay's too is that a lot of their books are like a little bit marked down. So like originally this book is $12.99, but I got it for $7, so I consider that a really good deal. I mean, it's not a super bargain, but I would say it's a pretty good deal regardless. But The Seance Tea Party is so good. I read it already, and I will probably make a book or a review on it soon. Maybe next week, maybe sometime. I'm going to start doing a lot of cozy book reviews again. I'm going to start doing more Halloween fall themed books now because I'm sort of in my spooky mindset. So I'm going to kind of put some other stuff on hold until further notice, I guess. I might sprinkle in some Sarah Dessen books here and there because I'm almost done reading all of them. I've finally listened to Lock and Key, actually, so that one could be a potential video. But that's besides the point. So The Seance Tea Party is really good, and it is about this girl right here. Her name is... I can never remember anybody's name. It's so annoying. I swear. Laura. Her name's Laura, and she is 12. And this is kind of a coming-of-age story, sort of. And she's 12, and a lot of her friends are, like, moving on from doing normal kid things. Which I feel like 12 is kind of a weird age to be. It's very transitional. Because I can remember when I was 12, I was a lot like Laura. I was still wanting to play on the playground. I still wanted to play like Barbies, and I wanted to play with dolls, not just like display them now, but I wanted to actually play with them and be imaginative. And a lot of my friends were like moving on, not playing with toys anymore. They didn't really want to play pretend. Nobody really had a play date anymore. They kind of wanted to just hang out. And that's kind of what Laura's going through in this book. And it's really good. It kind of made me cry. It's very sweet. It was just like saying, just because you grow up doesn't mean you have to technically like grow up in your heart. You can always hold on to that childhood magic. And that was basically the main thesis statement of this book. And she learns that thesis statement from her friend, who is a ghost. And her name is Alexa. And they meet when Laura's going through her attic and she finds a Ouija board, I think. PSA though, don't actually use a Ouija board. I think that's not something that we should be promoting to use. But that's just me, coming from a person who's a practicing Catholic. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I'm just saying, PSA, don't actually use a Ouija board. But I digress. For the point of the story, she uses a Ouija board and she summons this ghost girl, which I feel like is not realistic to happen in real life, but it was still cute nonetheless. But yeah, so it's basically about holding on to childhood magic and stuff, and I will definitely do a full video on this, but this is just one of the books I found at McKay's. And another book that I found that I'm so surprised to find was The Spell Shop. I listened to it last year, and I re-listened to it earlier in the summer because I was like in a reading slump. And when I'm in a reading slump, I kind of like to go back to one of the books that's very comforting to me. And this book is the epitome of comfort, in my opinion. So I definitely wanted to buy the physical copy. I think this book, it says it goes for $30, but I know for sure that I got it for $15, even though I don't have the price tag on it anymore. So it was half price, which is really cool. And I used my store credit on it. So really, in the way that my girl math works, it was free. That book was free because I used store credit. And store credit doesn't count as actual money, in my opinion. So I found that, and I'm currently reading it just because I had listened to it and I re-listened to it and I wanted to actually read it. It's very good. I love the sprayed edges. It's so pretty. The cover is phenomenal. I just really like this book. It's my favorite book. And actually, spoiler alert, I'm also listening to the sequel to this book right now, and it is The Enchanted Greenhouse. And it just came out July 15th, and I was like all over it. I got my credit. I used my credit on that. There was no hesitation whatsoever, so I'm listening to it as we speak. I am about 2 hours until I'm done with it, so I think I will make a video on that. It might not be next week, it might be the week after that, but that is in the works because I love making book reviews on newer books because I feel like newer books are more exciting, especially to like listen about. But yeah, so that was the second book I found. And then the third book, McKay's has a very wide variety. So I go from finding kids books and graphic novels to finding romances and adult-based fantasies. So this is another graphic novel I found. It is Jupiter Nettle and the 7 Schools of Magic. And it was only $6.50, and it looks really cute. And I noticed that the author is Sangu Mandana, and she wrote The Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and she also wrote the sequel, sort of, the second book she wrote is, I think it's A Witch's Guide to Innkeeping. So that's my next book that I want to listen to. That's my next book I want to get a credit for, because that also came out July 15th. and I want to listen to that and get that reviewed as well. So I just couldn't pass up finding the book by Sangu Mandana. I haven't read it yet, but the illustrations look adorable. I love all of the illustrations, and graphic novels are my favorite. And if it has to do with like a mystical school, I feel like that's just like the best. Those are my favorite stories, are the ones that deal with like apprentices and little like children going to a magical school. Those are some of the cutest books I've ever read. So I had to pick this one up because it looked really good. And I'm definitely going to read it. I haven't read it yet, but it is in my giant pile that is near my reading chair right now. It is very high. I would show it to you, but I don't think I can get my camera to point that way. But yeah, I have a high TBR pile right now. I'm just always juggling lots of books, I've noticed. Like, I just buy them, and then I start them, and I'm like, I get way too many. There's just way too many all the time. And this is another book that's been on my TBR for a while that I recently found at McKay's. And it is Tress and the Emerald Sea. And I love this book. I love the way it looks. It's very pretty. It was only $8 and it goes for $20. So really, that was a really great deal in my opinion. And I want to listen to the audiobook of this as well, but I figured since I found the actual book, I might just read it. I've been wanting to read this for a while. It's been on my TBR for probably like 2 years maybe. I had heard about it on BookTube a while ago, and it sounds very cozy. It's a very cozy fantasy. And it is about this girl named Tress, and I think she goes on an adventure in a ship and has to save someone, and it just sounds really good. I love cozy fantasies. I love cozy adventures, and it just sounds perfect for like Summerween vibes. That's the main vibe right now, is Summerween and Halloween in general. And this one is more of a cozy fantasy, but like, I was absolutely floored when I found this book. I found the Fairy Loot edition of Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I'm just like, what the heck? I found it for $18, and I don't even know how much it goes for, because it says it's Fairy Loot exclusive, and I don't really know what that means. But I found it at McKay's, and I feel like I couldn't pass it up because it's so beautiful. I have to give you a little bit of a detailed looky look at this book because it's really gorgeous. Like, the cover without the book jacket is beautiful. Like, I love all of the pink and the sparkliness. It reminds me of Cupid. Even the back of it looks really good too. And on the inside, there's really nice illustrations of all the main characters, like Evangeline and Jax. I don't know who these two are yet because I've started it, but I'm about halfway done with it. I also picked this up and just started reading it because I was like, I've heard lots of good things about Once Upon a Broken Heart, but I had never gotten a chance to read it. But I figured, since this is such a pretty book, I couldn't say no. I had to get it. And there's also illustrations in the back, too, of Evangeline's sister. And I think I just met her, but I think her name's Ariel. I can't remember. But this is a really beautiful book. And it's even signed by the author. And I'm not really sure how Fairy Loot works. I don't even know why someone would want to get rid of this, because really, it looks pretty special to me. I wouldn't get rid of it personally, but I mean, to each their own. Even the book jacket itself, like, there's this great illustration of Evangeline and Jax, and it is really, really beautiful. Like, all of this detail is so gorgeous. I can't get over it. And I'm reading it, and I'm about halfway done with it. And I would say that I really like it so far. It seems like a very fluffy book, and sometimes it is okay to read a fluffy book. Sometimes fluffy books are all you need. So yeah, I was very excited when I found this book, I'm not gonna lie. I like rushed over and grabbed it, and I showed my husband, and I'm just like, this is the most beautiful book I've ever seen. So I was really happy about that one. And this one, I know that this is a popular author, but I've never read anything by her before, but I know she has good reviews. This is No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall, and this is more of a thriller. So I guess my main book genre focuses are going to be cozy fantasies, thrillers, mysteries, anything with like that kind of vibe for Halloween and fall. And No One Can Know. I just saw the title and I saw the author and I was like, I can't pass this up. It was only $12.50, so it was a really good deal because it says this book goes for $28.99, and that's a pretty expensive book. And I also read the book jacket, and it says it's about three sisters, and I always love books that are about sisters. I don't know why. I don't have a sister personally. I have a brother, but I am always drawn to reading about sisterhood, whether it be friendship or family. There's just always so much interesting character dynamics with books that involve sisterhood. So that's why I picked it up, because I was like, you had me at sisters. That's it. I'm just gonna buy it. And it says someone murdered their parents, and I'm just like, whoa, what's happening here? So I'm gonna read that at some point too. I'm not really sure when. It is on my ever-growing pile. I think I will probably read it very soon because I am currently reading a lot of different books and I'm almost done with a couple of them, so I'm going to probably start juggling a few more books when I'm done with the ones I'm reading. So the thing that I do when I'm reading, I kind of read like 5 or 6 books at one time. And I kind of just jump through all of them, and it's just really weird, but it works for me. I don't know. I might have ADHD a little bit when it comes to reading. I'm not sure. But the next book I have in my haul is by an author that I have already read before, and it is Claribel Ortega, and I love her so much. And this book was $4. So honestly, that was a deal I couldn't refuse. And it says it's a cross between Coco and Stranger Things with a hint of Ghostbusters, and honestly, that's all you had to tell me. Because when it comes to Disney movies, I freaking love Coco. Coco is my jam. It is such a good movie. It's one of my favorite Pixar movies. It's definitely in my top 10. I cry every time I watch it. I love the family vibes, and if this book is like Coco, you can sign me up and I will read it, and I will give it a 5-star review most likely. So I'm really excited to read that, and I love that the cover art is always so fun and whimsical, and I think it's really cute that it's called The Ghost Squad. I'm just really excited to read this. I love Claribel Ortega. She's a really good author. She wrote The Witchlings, and I read that last year. I need to read the second and third book. I haven't gotten to those yet, but this one is definitely high on my list to read next. And then this is another book I found yesterday, actually, and it is called An Enchanting Case of Spirits. And I thought this title, it really caught my eye. I looked at it, it was in the paranormal romance area at McKay's, and I was like, An Enchanting Case of Spirits. I also thought it was interesting how it's got these 3 women sitting there. Like I said, I love it when there's a friendship group who has like a sisterhood type of vibe. So obviously it's about 3 women, and it is about this woman, Alyssa. She has her 40th birthday happening, and her husband passed away 2 years ago tragically, and she hasn't really wanted to celebrate, but her friends kind of force her to go out from what it sounds like, and they go to see a psychic and get a tarot card reading. Ooh, I wouldn't recommend doing that either, actually. But yeah, so anything that has to do with psychics or like Ouija boards, don't actually do it. I wouldn't recommend that. But anyway, for the purpose of the story, they go to tarot card reading and they find out that Alyssa gets special powers, I guess. It's all on the back of the book. So none of this is really spoilery. It's kind of on the back already. I started reading this yesterday too. I'm on page 23. And it's not bad so far. So far it's not bad. I like it. I think it's cute. And I'm interested in reading about someone who's older than me. Like, because recently I've been reading books and they're either my age or like they're younger than me. So it's interesting to read about a protagonist who's 40 because I can sort of relate, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm almost 30. But yeah, so it's nice to read about someone who's a little bit older than me. But it's really good so far. I really like it. I think it's cute. And it was only $10, so honestly, it's an offer I can't refuse. I don't pick up a lot of books, but when I do, I'm really into like paranormal stuff. So I'm happy I picked that one up. And this next book was a complete impulse because I'm listening to it currently. But I started to lapse in my listening. So I'm like, maybe if I actually read it, it'll be better. So I found Legends and Lattes, the Peak Cozy Fantasy, and it was only $10.50. And this is like a special edition of the book, and it goes for $30. So I was like, this is crazy. These prices are crazy. But yeah, I gotta give you a little peek at this book too. So this is the cover without the book jacket. And there's also illustrations. There's Viv, the orc. I love her so much. She's one of my favorite characters. And I'm really glad that they drew her and captured her essence. And this is such a good book. I'm reading it. I'm like halfway through it. And I just love a good cozy fantasy. I started reading it last night because I picked up where I left off listening to it. And it's just really good vibes. Like, this is very low stakes, high fantasy. And it's basically just about like a coffee shop that Viv runs and how she meets all her patrons and friends. And how she gives up her life of fighting people and like being a bounty hunter, I think. And like wants to be a quieter life. So I just really love the vibes of that. Like, I'm all for that. Like, go Viv. Live your best life. Because that's like the best of the best. And I think it takes place throughout all the seasons, because right now this cover, it's showing winter. And I really like this drawing. It's very beautiful. Oh, I just noticed that just now. I can see Thimble. That is Viv's baker. And I just noticed that just now. He's peeking his head out of the door. And I really love Thimble. I just met him yesterday reading, and how he came up with his little cinnamon rolls, and he came up with these little biscotti things. It was so cute. This book is great. It really makes me want a cup of coffee, and it made me want a cinnamon roll. So I made myself hot coffee this morning because of this book, and it's just so good. And I was really happy I found it at McKay's. I couldn't believe it, honestly. I could not believe my luck. I feel like I've been finding really good bangers at McKay's recently. And then my last book that I have in my Summerween book haul is called Dearest. And this looks like it's a part of Book of the Month. So someone must not have liked it that much, I guess, because they gave it to McKay's. Or they liked it, but they just didn't want to keep it. So this was only $13, which is a steal, because I'm sure this was expensive. It's $29, but depending on how Book of the Month works for this person, they might have gotten it for $10. But anyway, I read the cover, and it's about a new mom, and she's a single mom, and she's like hearing voices in her house, and her husband is deployed, and she's alone, and she's struggling. So I guess she's not a single mom. She's just a mom who's on her own right now, and her husband just isn't there right now. But it just sounded really, really good. Like, I am really into, like, strange things happening. I'm really into books about motherhood too, and like the different aspects of motherhood. So the fact that this is a new mom with a baby girl and there's like strange things happening, it just caught my attention. And I think I had seen it there a couple times, but I didn't pick it up. But I decided to pick it up yesterday. And I think I'm going to start reading it once I am done with Legends and Lattes. I really want to start reading more thrillers. I want to be tantalized and titillated because those thrillers are the best. And I am in need of a thriller because I've been reading a lot of cozy fantasy lately, and it's been very, like, not boring, but just really relaxing, and I want more. I want to feel more, basically. But I will say, I did listen to it, and that was a lot. So maybe I should stick to mild thrillers, because that book was a lot. I don't know when I'm going to make a video about that one, but I just thought I would mention it. But yeah, so those are all the books that I have found at McKay's, and this is my tribute to Summerween, and this is my intro to more fall cozy fantasy books to come. So thank you for watching, friends. I enjoyed making this video. I hope you enjoy watching it, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.